Hey beautiful people, thank you for tuning in to Melanin Moments. You know me, Aaliyah, and I'm here in front of the beautiful Washington Monument, and we're discussing white privilege and whether or not it exists. Let's find out.
Oh, you say yes it does.
Would you guys like to share your opinion, your perspective?
Just 2 minutes. We'll play.
I just did, right?
I know, but it was like, yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it, thank you. So I'm here with my beautiful guests,
David.
And Jennifer.
and we're discussing white privilege and whether or not it exists. So, speaking of your experience or just your point of view, do you think white privilege exists?
I believe so.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I think so.
I really believe it comes down to what your perspective of what it is, but I would say in my own personal experience growing up, my friends of color had a much different experience just going out in general, being out in society, and the way people treated them. And so, yeah, I believe just by that fundamental nature, it exists.
I like how you said that. Just your friends of color, they had different experiences just being out, you know?
It wasn't exactly positive, so, I mean, I got away with a lot more than they did. Let's just put it that way.
Wow, and so I know I want to get your feedback as well.
I definitely think it does. I didn't grow up around in this area, but I grew up in Northern Virginia, that area. And just growing up, I was pretty much the only minority in a pretty prevalent Caucasian, type of area. And I don't know, sometimes you get treated a little bit differently. There were definitely some moments with my family where, people try to look at you some ways, or sometimes they say some side comments like there should be a law against this and that or whatever. And I don't know, just like subtle things like that. Like it's nothing like blatant these days, but it's just like little things here and there, and you can just kind of tell that, there hasn't really been much of a shift, but
Yeah. No, I like that. I like how you mentioned as far as even your family, being biracial, and you see that experience, and because of certain, just ethnicity, it's not even you're doing anything wrong. It's not even you're not even doing anything wrong either for someone to treat, say, your friends differently than they're treating you. You're not doing anything wrong, but just having you acknowledge that, because of my skin color and because of the society we live in, it's going to be a difference, the different interactions that I have, with some people and that you may have with some people. And I know when I'm speaking to people about it, I even just mentioned as far as just going to the grocery store. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my hands in my pockets with a hood on, walking through the grocery store, because I feel like someone's going to look at me thinking I'm doing something mischievous, And then, but if say a Caucasian male or a Caucasian woman, she did the same thing, do you think they'll be looking at her differently than they're looking at me? So it's like, just giving people that idea and giving people that scenario to help them understand, what white privilege is and how we can even just move past it. So as far as your families, so if you mentioned it to one of your family members, do you think they'll be receptive towards it, or they'll deny it?
Honestly, it depends on what side of my family, because I have the black side of my family. Of course, they acknowledge it. We talk about that kind of stuff all the time at family events. And then my other side, they had a lot of issues from the beginning, from when my parents got together, and so there's still there are still some issues about that there. So I don't really think they're for, I don't think they really understand how that. Yeah.
Exactly. I like how you said as far as you don't think they're really understanding of it. And it's all about having the conversation.
Sorry, they've gotten, better at understanding, how, they kind of had to force themselves to understand it because we came along, you got, unconditional love and all of that, but
Exactly. I like how you said they kind of force themselves to kind of understand, because you really don't understand something until you experience it. Basically, so it's like if you're living, sorry, I thought you were going to say something. So
I realized that I would actually have to ask that. I never even considered that question before.
This one is discussing whether or not white privilege exists.
Yeah. He said he's the best looking.
So, all right, it's okay. We got you. All right. So, dang.
Good evening, guys. I'm so sorry to bother you guys. We're doing a quick interview. You guys have 2 seconds to discuss more than that.
No, I'm just curious. What are you asking?
Does white privilege exist?
Yeah, could we take a pass?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
think the idea of white privilege comes from is white people have been in power for hundreds and hundreds of years. And because white people, we've been in power for hundreds and hundreds of years, we think that we have the right to do whatever we want. I look at a young man like Trayvon walking through his neighborhood, his father's neighborhood, with a bag of Skittles and a can of iced tea, and another man looks at him, regardless of his skin color, that young black men look suspicious because of the color of their skin is wrong.
You know, we went up to different people. We went to Ethiopians, we went to a biracial couple, we went to just different people just to hear different perspectives on whether or not it exists. And if you're affected by it, you know, it's just something to have a conversation about, because a lot of people are uncomfortable when we discuss anything pertaining to race at all. They don't want to talk about it or anything, but I feel like this is prevalent because, you know, it's affecting people, and it can affect someone's job status, it can affect someone's livelihood too. So, you know, so what is you guys' opinion on white privilege? Do you think it exists? Do you think it's, you know, still relevant today?
Shit. What?
Hey, you can come in too. It's an interview. You want to come join us about white privilege and whether or not it exists?
You think so?
You think it does? Yeah. Okay. So why do you think it does? Like, have you seen someone you know, benefit from it, or have you seen someone, you know, have the negative effects of it?
I mean, every now and then, but I think it just depends on the person. If you put yourself in situations where you are looked at as black as white, then maybe. But it just depends on how you carry yourself.
Okay. What about you?
I agree with him.
You agree? Okay. So what about you? No, it's okay. So I like how you said, as far as putting yourselves in situations, whether or not, you know, you're looked at as black and white. So what situations are those when we're black and white?
I don't know. Like, I feel like people in 2019 are just judgmental. So it just depends on how you want to take it.
Okay. So as far as, say, if someone came up to... Okay.
I'm hit by gas right now in public. Some white people might get mad at that, but see, black community not gonna care.
So do you think if you were of another race that it would be...
White, nobody would care. But now that I'm walking down the street smoking gas, niggas just gonna be staring all day.
You're right. So I know our friend over there isn't really saying anything. Let's go. Okay. No, but that's... See, it's crazy how you even mentioned that, because, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, we have our white friend here and we have our black friend here, you know, and it's a situation where he may be treated differently than you will be. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that he will be, you know, but I'm just saying, have you experienced anything similar as far as if you're hanging out with your white friends, you know, they're looked at a little different than you are?
Nah, not really.
Okay, no, that's good too. Like I said, it's a different perspective. I'm not trying to pressure you to answer how I want you to answer. Okay? So what do you have to say anything about, like, as far as experiencing, you know, whether or not your white friends are treated differently than you?
I feel like when we're out with white people, they look at us differently, but then if we were by ourselves, they wouldn't.
Okay, so yeah, and in a sense of, as far as like you're saying, you know, not really being treated differently, but even just the looks, that's a form of white privilege there, you know? You don't have to do anything, you know, you being there and you benefiting from just your skin color, that's a form of white privilege. And I'm not saying it's not necessarily you're a bad person, or, you know, we're not black people either if we're looked at differently because we're black. You know, it's just how society views us and how society was, you know, created, you know, and Americanized. And it could be a global issue as well. So, you know, I know you guys are like in the move, you know, about to go head somewhere. I don't want to take all your time. So as far as if someone came up to you and said, you know, white privilege does not exist, you guys are pulling the race card, you know, it's untrue, you guys are just making excuses, what would you say to them?
Why are you talking to me?
Hey, that's a valid answer too. Okay, that's a valid answer too. What about you?
I don't know. I would just ignore it.
Just ignore it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's valid too, you know. Sometimes we don't even want to address it. We don't want to get into that topic or get into that conversation with them, because there's no point in trying to convince someone who's set in their ways, right? If you like what you see, please comment, like, share this video. And if you want to be a part of Melanin Moments, please DM me or email me at melaninmoments101@gmail.com. And we're out.